I really hope it's working too. Let me see. Oh, hello. How are you doing? Let's see. It's supposed to be working, but it's not. Oh, it is. Okay. How are you guys? Hello. Let's wait for some people to join. I'm also setting up my YouTube stream at the same time, and I'm not sure if it's working. Let me see if it is. I think I did something wrong. No, it is. We're live. Yay. Hello, Truth Unknown. We even have the first person in the chat. Well, that's nice. Let me see what you guys are saying as well. How are you doing? Hi. Nice to see you. Hi, Direwolf. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Debbie. I am still here. Thank you for remembering about me. Thank you, Henrik. Hello, 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 everyone. So yeah, we're also live on YouTube at the same time. Hello, hello, Alice. I see you. I am gonna multitask during the stream. A lot of things happening at once, but also I decided that it would be perfect and a perfect opportunity to show my map that is not mirrored for the first time ever. How cool would that be? So we're just gonna, thank you, Daddy. We're just gonna wait for a couple more people to join in. Again, if you're interested in joining us on YouTube, please do that, because we're also live on there looking at the map of Ukraine. And in particular right now, we're looking at the map of all of the military action that we're gonna go through and that we're gonna discuss in some details in a couple minutes. It's been a while. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Hi, 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 everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you for loving my t-shirt. I love it too. Because, I mean, who doesn't love Aragorn? Only sociopaths doesn't. So, where have you been answering your ages? Okay, sorry, I didn't understand what you mean here, Frankie. Jeremy says, for device, oh, thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, everything is good. I am safe. Right here, right now, everything is as good as it can be. I'm still in Volyn. I'm still, well, you know, same old situation. It's still very calm here, comparatively. Well, I mean, not even comparatively, just by default. We just had, what, couple of air alarms in the last week, which is nice. It's very different for the rest of the country, though, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. Let me see. Okay, we have a couple people. We have 9 people in the YouTube chat, which is, how nice is that? Just a reminder, we're also live on YouTube, so we're gonna be looking at the map on YouTube right now. So if you're interested, please go check it out. The link is in my bio. So we will be looking at the map and discussing all of the events. And I will also be looking at the chat here as well, because of course, how could I possibly abandon you guys? But yeah, just trying something new. Thank you everyone. So last time we talked was last week. I went live on Saturday, and what do you know? Overnight, Saturday, Sunday, we had yet another massive Russian drone strike all across the country. So what does it usually look like? What does it mean? First of all, it's an almost daily occurrence at this point, right? This is something that the eastern part of the country, so if you look at the map, if you are on YouTube with me right now and you're looking at the map, the eastern part of the country is usually, this is what we mean, right, when we talk about it. It's this one that I'm pointing at. So it's Donbass, it's Kharkiv Oblast, it's Sumy, and usually also it could include the entirety of the left bank of Dnipro River. So this is the part that is usually the heaviest, hit the heaviest by the Russian drones. So we started out with 149 drones, out of which 57 were intercepted, and also 67 disappeared, which is it's a very interesting language that our officials use from time to time. It's the army spokespeople. So what do they mean usually by that? Whenever they say just intercepted, it means that it got hit by the air defense. And whenever they said disappeared, it means it's the electromagnetic warfare that got it, so the REB. So the majority of it, according to our army official, hi Summer, nice to see you, the majority of those were intercepted. However, several regions got hit. So the regions that got hit, let's start in the east. So we're looking at Donetsk. In the east as well, we're looking at Kharkiv. This is Kharkiv, to those of you who do not know. The problem with Kharkiv, the biggest problem that Kharkiv has, is that Russia is super close. You see, if you look at the map right now, we're live on YouTube, everybody. I'm showing the map on YouTube as well. If you look at the map, this is Kharkiv, and this right here, this is where Russia starts. So Belgorod is super close. It's about 50 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken, from Kharkiv. So obviously Kharkiv is under constant daily attacks because of this. Because the closer you are to the front line, the closer you are to Russia, the wider the range of different kinds of weapons that they can use to shell you. So that's the problem with living super close to them. And also other regions get hit as well. So Sumy, let me scroll a little bit to show you guys Sumy. This is also considered Eastern Ukraine. On the map, it's all covered in green because this was the part that was originally occupied by Russia. This is where Russia tried to... This is where they began their invasion in 2022. Parts of it is where they got kicked away from. So usually these are the parts that are marked in green on the map. So again, a reminder, we're also live on YouTube. It's gonna be a little messy. It's gonna get some adjusting to. Let me see what LA woman says. I hate the way the Trump and Vance treated presidents. Well, I mean, it's all better now. It has gotten significantly better compared to what it was. They signed the mineral deal that we're going to talk about very, very soon. Just a second, let me see what the YouTube chat is saying, if they're saying anything. Oh, it's so chill here, very quiet. So if you're interested in some cozy, quiet atmosphere, you can join us on YouTube as well. Thank you, Patrick, for greetings from San Francisco. This is very nice. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. What was I talking about? I was talking about, of course, the drones and missile strikes. So what does it usually look like? Again, if we take a look, I've recently found out that a lot of our official organizations have all kinds of pages on social media. So, for instance, our rescuers, our, firefighters, I guess, they're a mix of everything. But basically, the first responders, the people who get to the scene whenever there is a strike or anything else, a fire, they have an official Twitter page. What do you know? So if you would like to see what it usually looks like when someone gets, thank you, Jonathan, when some building, residential area gets hit by a drone or a missile or whatever, and what these people's jobs look like, how they're supposed to work with it, how they're supposed to put this fire out, this is what they put on their social media, because yeah, this is our reality. So we're now looking at the results of the two strikes. So the first one, the one that I was just showing you, this is a residential building in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast being on fire. Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, we go back to the map, let me show you. Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, it's the oblast right here, right? So this is usually, we usually call it the central Ukraine, some people call it southern Ukraine as well, but it's very, very close to the front line, right? So it's the next goal, actually, by some of the accounts. It's the next goal of the Russians after they managed to capture Donetsk Oblast, and that's what the next one would be, the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. And so this is the image that I'm showing to you right now is the result of a drone strike. The other image that they have also put up on their social media, let me show you. But this one is actually the aviation bomb strike results. So it's a bit different, again, according to the official page. So yeah, that's just to give you an idea. It's all extremely devastating, and an important thing to remember that it happens daily, pretty much at this point, right? Oops, TikTok wants to tell me something. That it happens daily. With the drone strikes, it's 100% daily. With missile strikes, thankfully, it's not daily. But last week we had several days where it was the combined missile strike. So it was the drones and it was the missiles as well. So let me look at the chat. Apologies. When is all this going to end? Really good question. Not anytime soon, apparently, because it just continues. And they're now talking, of course, that no peace deal will be signed, and that all of this was just a bunch of nothing, a bunch of nonsense. So I think it's just going to continue for pretty much as long as Russians have the potential to continue the war, because it's up to them at this point, right? Well, I mean, it's always been up to them, to the Kremlin, to not attack us. So this would be very nice. We'd really appreciate it. But yeah, for now, this is where we are. The Russian war machine is still very much going strong, and even finds a new way for itself to come at us, I guess. Hello, Andrea. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm also live on YouTube, everybody. So we were just looking at some of the map is on YouTube. A lot of people are going to be very, very confused. I just opened it. Hi, Brittany. Thank you. Let's see. The map is on YouTube, you guys. So, what image is on your T-shirt? I mean, come on. That's Aragorn, son of Arathorn. Let me see. Also, let me see what the YouTube chat is saying, because I'm multitasking today. I mean, at least I'm trying. Failing miserably, but trying my best. Oh, it's already 41 people here. Hi, guys. Henrik found the map. Good to see you too, everyone. Anyway, so, by the way, I really recommend this map to all of you. The one that I'm showing to you right now on YouTube. It's called the Deep State map, which is a really cheeky map name for a map. But it's incredible for various reasons. For instance, if you take a look at it, let's see if we can scroll somewhere closer to some of the, for instance, we're now looking at Pokrovsk, right? This right here is Pokrovsk. This is the city in Donetsk Oblast that the Russians have been trying to capture for months now. This is one of the most heated parts of the front line. This is one of the hardest, toughest battles and some of the toughest directions, because this is one of their #1 priorities to capture. Thank you. The cool thing that you can see, so the territories that Russia has occupied, you can see they're in red, obviously. You can also see these little signs. They stand for different Russian regiments and different Russian brigades that are participating in the assault on this particular region of Ukraine. So you can see this. The ones in blue are usually our counteroffensives. This is how they're marked. And so if you go here to the upper left corner and you click on a different date, for instance, let's go about a week back or maybe 2 weeks back. Let's go to 21st. Did you see how it moved? So you can see the advances. You can see how they're advancing on different parts of the front line. And in this particular part, for instance, on April 1st we started out, you can see with these little blue spots on the map, this is where our Ukrainian counteroffensives were happening in the Pokrovsk area. And then some of them get swollen, right? And then you move again, and you see how the Russians advancing in different directions, trying to capture the city in their claws. Because, of course, from what I could tell, at least from the analytics that I've been reading, the main goal is to try and encircle it, as they do, because, well, this would make sense. You cut off the logistics, you encircle the city, and then you advance and you capture it. But every single time the smaller scale counteroffensive happens, and they prevent them from encircling and advancing. So this map shows this process amazingly. It's a great map, one of my favorite maps, and I think the most famous map in Ukraine probably. So this is why I love it so much. It's just very, very illustrative of what's happening. Anyway, that's just me geeking out because of the map. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'm watching you on both, says Kathy. Thank you. I'm devastated, by the way. the US president has behaved. Well, we're now moving on to a different arc, right? A different character arc with the mineral deal being signed. Okay, we're gonna get to the mineral deal in a minute. So I was still on the massive strikes on the on Sunday, right? So we were on 27th. I just get carried away, as I always do. So another thing that happened, another thing that I wanted to show you. So this is another, what we're looking at right now is a result of the aerial bomb strike on the Kherson, the city of Kherson. This is what it looks like when it hits a residential building. I mean, you've seen, I believe, images like this most likely in your media, right? This is just the image of a building that has been, well, almost completely destroyed, just a regular, 5-story building in Kherson. This is Kherson, by the way. Let me show you Kherson on the map. We're going all the way south, right here, very different side of the country. And again, you can see that Kherson on this map is all in green. Why is it in green? That's because it was liberated after the Russian occupation in 2022. But these days, we've already discussed this during the previous streams, Kherson is under constant attacks, and in Kherson, this is where they began the so-called human safaris. This is where they hunt down the civilians with drones to test their drones, to train their FPV specialists. And also, of course, this is the city that you can see, right, how close it is to the front line. It is practically the front line, so thank you. So this is why it's very easy to reach pretty much any target within the city by any means. However, this particular weapon that they have used, these aerial bombs, this is something that has been causing a lot of problems everywhere, because up until this moment, as far as I'm concerned, from what I have heard, we do not have a cure against those. So they're not only being used against the cities or against the residential buildings like you're seeing right now. They have a lot of them and they use them everywhere. The most devastating result is whenever they use them on the hi ChatGPT, thank you. Whenever they use them on the frontline positions. So this is the type of stuff that they use to just completely disseminate, just destroy the trenches, for instance. So no matter how deep you dig in and how well fortified your trenches are, when they start raining down on you with these aerial bombs, it's a no-go pretty much. So this is what happened with Kherson. And we're still on 27th, and also on that day we had a massive strike on Pavlograd, that's Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Another cool thing about this map is you can just type in the names of cities, and then it's just gonna show them to you, which is, how cool is that? So Pavlograd, again, one of those cities that unfortunately, as you can see on the map, is super, super close to the super close to the front line, and because of that, again, the same problem. So it can be hit from various types of weapons, various types of ammunition, and so in Pavlograd we had a devastating strike, so with one person dead and 14-year-old injured, and then in Dnipro city itself, so that's the main city of the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast and one of the biggest cities in Ukraine. Also, there was a drone attack with some buildings damaged. Thankfully, no one was killed. And also in Nikopol, let's go to Nikopol. Just a moment. This is also Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Nikopol, again, are you seeing this? The only thing separating Nikopol from the occupied territories, the ones in red. Thank you. We're also live on YouTube, you guys. I'm showing the map on YouTube, so this is why it's a bit confusing. The one thing that separates Nikopol from the thank you, ChatGPT, thank you, from the Russia-occupied territories is Dnipro River. That is still marked as Dnieper on this map. Okay, we're gonna let it slide. And so because of that, it's in the range of Grady in particular. Grad it means hailstorm, but it's a type of MLRS, so multiple rocket launcher system. And it was the type of MLRS that was developed during the Soviet era, and that both the Russians and we also have them at our disposal, and they're quite infamous, those systems. And so Nikopol is within the range of the Russian hailstorms of the Russian Grady, and so this is what they used for this particular strike on Sunday. And so 8 residential buildings were damaged in that. So that was Sunday. This is what happened after you and I talked on Saturday, immediately, just a day of massive strikes. And then on the 28th we wake up and it's another massive drone attack. So 166 drones this time. Again, remember, right? This is every single day it's happening. Every single day there are a bunch of drones. And again, same regions. So we're talking Sumy, Sumska Oblast. We're talking Kharkiv. So once again, this is eastern Ukraine, and well, the poor, long-suffering Donetsk Oblast, and also Cherkasy. This is Cherkasy. Now, Cherkasy is actually central Ukraine. No one's gonna argue. I had people arguing with me before about whether or not we can consider Dnipro southern Ukraine, central Ukraine, or is it southern Ukraine. Cherkasy is actually super central Ukraine, because look at it sitting right at the center of the map. So another thing that happened, we had the confirmation of the one more village in Donetsk Oblast getting occupied. It was the, wait, I had it written down, Nadezhdinka, my god. Nadezhdinka, where is it? Donetsk, there we go. So as you can see, again, on the map, it's here in red. And if we check just, wait, when was it, like a couple weeks ago, right? You can see how it was just gradually advancing. So April 7th, they're on the outskirts of the village. Then within a week, half the village, and they start to encircling, going into these different directions, these two claws, and then it's fully occupied. Remember how we were discussing this gradual advance of the troops, right? How it's moving very slow, it's this grueling process. And those of you who are following the war, and those of you who are following the footage from the front line and the footage that is being posted by our military, you know that it's very, you know how high the death toll is in those offensives. And it's just absolutely petrifying when you look at these lands just covered in blood and you realize how much, just, my god, and why and for what. But anyway, yeah, this is the village that was occupied most recently. It just goes on like this day after day, day after day, day after day, these just gradual non-stop offensives on everything. Now it's the motorcycles, it's the new thing that they're doing. Anyway, the map is on YouTube, you guys. Sorry, again, we're doing something new today, so I understand it's super confusing. I apologize for this. But if you go to my YouTube channel, the link is in my bio. You can see the link to my channel and also the live stream, and you can see the map and everything if you would like to see that. Just a moment, let me see what the YouTube chat is saying. Are you guys saying anything on here? Yeah, you're saying hi. Hello. Good to see you guys. Please migrate to Blue Sky. I've been trying to get off of the Muskie website. It just has such a terrible hold on me for some weird reason. I don't know. I have to do something about it. But I do have a Blue Sky. I just don't really post on there. But I did notice that it's comparatively nice and chill. So we quiet here. Anyway. Let's go back to the horrible updates and everything awful that has happened. So, we just talked about, what's the name of that village? Nadezhdinka being occupied. Half of our media, before you come at me, half of our media outlets misspelled the name. They called it Nadiyivka, they call it something else. No, it's Nadezhdinka, and it got occupied. And we got the confirmation of that on 28th. And this was also the day when we got the confirmation from, who do you know? Kim Jong-un, the North Korean Chuche, the Kim Jong-scare, as I like to call him. Now, finally, he officially confirmed that North Korean troops are, in fact, fighting in Ukraine. I guess. Okay, thank you so much for that. That's very exciting for all of us. This comes about 2 days after Gerasimov and Putin confirmed it first. They not congratulated. They thanked the North Korean troops for their role that they played in the Kursk operation. Let's go to Kursk, by the way. Where is Kursk? This is the most interesting development. in the recent half a year, I guess, that we also have this as a part of our frontline now. Still have, by the way, despite the fact. So they have officially announced that we got kicked out of all of Kursk Oblast, but up until very recently, it has been confirmed that we have been holding at least some positions in Kursk Oblast. This is Russian territory, by the way. We're looking at it right now. So if we go back just a couple days ago, wait, where is it? Why is it not? It's not turning blue for some reason. You can see the teeny tiny blue parts next to Suja, the infamous town that was captured by our forces when the this incursion, or as I like to call it, incursion, began. And right now it's this teeny tiny blue dot next to it. This is what it looks like, the territory that is still under our forces. But yeah, the official Putin-Gerasimov performance was about how they have kicked all of our troops out of Kursk Oblast, and then Kim Jong-un a couple of days later was like, yeah boys, I confirm, we were in fact there helping you out. So this was the first official confirmations we have received. To those of you who were not aware, for a while it has been a point of this massive discussion between the most insufferable chronically online people on the internet, about how, so there was a group of the, let's call them progressive leftists, who were actively denying and calling all of us crazy for stating that there are North Korean troops in Ukraine, though they're fighting in Russia, whatever, they're participating in this war at all. So it was very nice to show it to them and to get the actual confirmation that they are indeed fighting in this war. So another thing that happened, there was a massive drone strike on a microchip factory in the Russian city of Bryansk. This map doesn't have the city of Bryansk, but trust me, you're not missing out on much. It's in this direction, so I'm gonna show you with my mouse. It's right there. So this is Gomel. Somewhere here is Bryansk, and they had a microchip factory, and they no longer do. That's the end of the story. But you know, it's nice when stuff like this happens. Anyway, the map is on YouTube, you guys. It's on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Link is in my bio. If you're interested, go check it out. So we're doing something new. I know it's stressful. We don't like changes. We don't like new things. But sometimes we have to try different things. If it doesn't work out, we'll go back to the old backup plan. I still have the OG map, so no worries. Anyway, let me see. Oh, thank you for your prayers, Jeremy, and thank you, Crafty Comrade, to Heroyam Slava. North Korea is the warmongering arm of China. Yeah, pretty much. That's a very very nice way to sum them up. Travis says, are you worried at all about Russia taking over? Well, yes, obviously. This entire thing is devastating. I know. Perhaps my reactions are not as... I don't know what kind of reactions I should be having at this point. But no, the fact that it's happening is something that's still very hard to believe in. And obviously there's always a possibility that they can advance rapidly. There's always a possibility of the front collapsing. The biggest threat to us is all of our problems on the inside of the country, domestically. The issues within the army, the issues that lead to lack of people at the front, for instance. So yeah, it's obviously very, very troubling. Anyway, we need that map that your mom provided. Yeah, the map is still here. We're just trying something new, you guys. Again, if we don't like this whole YouTube situation, we're just gonna go back to the good old mappy. It's still here. It's still with us. Anyway, this was also the day. So on 28th, Putin announced a 3-day truce that he would like to have on the 9th of May. To those of you who are not aware, the 9th of May is approaching. And if you're interested in learning more, I just posted a YouTube video detailing my opinions on the matter. But the 9th of May is going to have this massive parade in Moscow, and also over Russia. It's this massive celebration of the propagandized version of the victory in the World War II. They're gonna have all of these events. They're gonna have the so-called Immortal Regiment. This is where you put an image of someone, preferably from your family, who fought in the World War II or died in the World War II. You put them on a stick and you walk around commemorating, I guess. Anyway, this is where they sing and dance, and a bunch of very important guests are supposed to be invited to Moscow, including Xi from China. Modi was supposed to be there from India, but he pulled out. So did Vucic from Serbia and Fico from Slovakia. They said that at the very last moment, actually a couple of hours ago, they have announced that no, they're not going to participate. But it's also going to be a bunch of the former Soviet country leaders, like Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. Of course, Tokayev is not going to miss the KGB hangout of the year. And yeah, so this is going to be massive, right? However, a very big concern is that what is a military parade? It is exactly what it sounds. It's a bunch of military equipment and missiles and tanks and stuff driving around the Red Square. So in military terms, this is called a legitimate target. And this is going to be very, very unpleasant if a bunch of drones all of a sudden fly into the precious parade of Vladimir v. Putin. So this is why he called for this 3-day truce, which, I mean, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs immediately responded by saying, why, first of all, why wait? Why shall we wait till 9th of May? Let's have the truce right now. Let's have the ceasefire right now, and also let's make it not 3 days, let's make it 30 days. But obviously to this they said, no, we're not going to do that. And this was followed by what Zelensky today said, that we cannot guarantee, he said, the safety of any of the attendees of the parade, which is, it's like a thinly veiled threat. But yeah, the parade is coming. We'll see how many more people end up pulling out, because, again, today we find out that 2 more people are not coming. Maybe it's actually going to be even more. We'll see. The most exciting part and the will he, won't he in all of this is whether or not Xi, the Chinese Communist Party chairman, will show up to the event. Anyway, let's see what you guys are saying. He has invited the world leaders, right? If you can call them that. No, he has invited even more people. But only some agreed, and then some agreed and started to say, actually, we're not so sure about that. There also, please keep in mind, all of this time there were all of these talks of the possible ceasefire, that maybe Trump will negotiate the massive ceasefire, the peace deal, the whatever, and now everyone realizes that no, it's not going to happen, with Trump and Ukraine signing the mineral deal, and with everything, and we now have already announcements for the upcoming more weapon transfers, right? It started out, first there was a 50 million transfer announced, and now it was 300 something million transfer of the F-16 parts, and the so basically everything that has to do with maintenance for the F-16 planes. So they're realizing, okay, it's not going to happen, there isn't going to be a truce, and the Ukrainian drones are reaching really, really far into the country, so maybe it's not going to be 100% safe. So this could also be the factor in all of this. Anyway, the rare mineral, we're going to get to the rare minerals, don't worry, I have a lot of things to say. We're going to go through the conditions, we're going to maybe even compare and contrast to what it was before. Right now we're still on the 28th, 29th of April. Putin is worried about air raid sirens going off during the parade. I think air raid sirens would be the least of his concerns, because what if some of the stuff actually reaches the square? This would be very, very bad. We actually had something of a rehearsal yesterday, but we're going to talk about this in a couple minutes. I heard that Trump wants to throw himself a big parade too. Yeah, and he also started talking about the Victory Day. This was really, really interesting. Interesting timing, interesting topic, interesting the language that he's been using. It's very similar to how the Kremlin talks about the 9th of May for them and the Victory Day. how they are the only country that has defeated everyone. In fact, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I think time means nothing anymore, but there was this kind of exchange between Trump and Putin about how it was Russia and America that won the World War II. Like, everyone else was kind of there, I guess, or maybe not. Everyone else went to, I don't know, smoke a cigarette. So, yeah, obviously, whenever you build some kind of mythos for yourself, I guess, of the glorious, victorious past, it's inevitable. You're gonna look at these massive, historical events, and you will try and, put a little spin on them. So, not really surprising. Disturbing, but not surprising. Anyway, let's go back to the news. So 29th of April, we had another massive drone attack. You already know it. Every morning in Ukraine starts with the news of a massive drone attack. With this time it was 84 drones intercepted. So let me see, just a moment. Again, this was mostly in the eastern regions of the country, but also Kyiv got hit as well. There were some injured people in Kyiv. We're currently looking at it on the map on YouTube, everybody. To those who just arrived, we're also live on YouTube. But the most massive hit was in Kharkiv. So again, we're going back to the eastern side of Ukraine. This is Kharkiv right here. Multi-million people city, at least it used to be. I'm not sure how many people live there now. And in Kharkiv there was about 45 people who were injured, and it was just awful. Maybe I will show you what our officials have posted about this, if I can find it, because you see, if you're currently seeing my screen, what I'm broadcasting almost every single day, there are these attacks. So I believe this one that they posted on April 30th, this is actually the pictures from the massive fires that happened in Kharkiv on 29th following this massive drone attack. So they're saying on their official firefighters of Ukraine, I don't know how you translate this organization, they're saying that because of these massive strikes, the residential buildings were destroyed, the garages were destroyed, the infrastructure objects were destroyed, cars were damaged, and more than 10 fires were happening all across the city. And by the point in time when they posted this, again, you can see, if you see my screen, you see the devastation. By the time they posted this, they reported 38 people who were wounded, but then it rose to more. It was approximately 45 injured people last time I was checking the information. And also, during the same massive drone strike on 29th in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, also several people were injured, and a 12-year-old girl was killed in an attack. 30th started, you already know it, with another drone attack. By the way, I'm also going to show you another map. This is our official map of the air raid alerts and sirens that a lot of people are using. They also have, I believe, the Telegram app. I'm not using this one in particular, but this one is also, it's very good. So you can just see the regions that, they just light up with red whenever there is an air raid alert. And sometimes all of the entire country turns red. Hi Annette, thank you. This means that there are certain types of missiles flying towards Ukraine. So right now we're looking at the situation where it's quite calm, relatively peaceful. You can see here in Kharkiv region, oops, what is happening? I wanted to zoom in, I don't think I can. Anyway, in Kharkiv region, they're pointing out to the ongoing battle with some urban fighting, but other than that, relatively calm, so that's good. We love it when it happens. So what are we? Oh, thank you. Another good news from Russia. There was an ammo plant hit by drones on April 30th. Unfortunately, I do not have the map of Moscow area, but that was in the city of Murom, which is quite close to Moscow. So that was good, an ammo plant. And now let me look at what you guys are saying. Okay, let's see. Oh, good, Olive. How are you doing? We're going through the news. We're now on April 30th. What happened? Simply mentioned the Russian president and my comment got revoked. This is interesting. I haven't really added any of the filter words. offered me the option. I was looking through the settings of the stream, and it has the option to add some filter words, but I don't remember. I don't remember adding anything actually. So this is probably TikTok doing something. Sorry, this happened. We can come up with a nickname for him. You can call him Poopin. Also, let me see what the YouTube chat is saying, if it's saying anything. It's really, really chill in the YouTube chat. People are having the conversation. People, please keep coming to YouTube. There is a call from the YouTube chat. Anyway, let's see. If the peace deal is not going to go anywhere, how do you think this ends? It's going to continue, most likely. It's going to continue, and it's going to entirely depend on the type of equipment and what kind of stuff will we continue receiving and buying, and how our defense will be planned and built on from now on. This is going to be an important factor. And yeah, but it's going to continue, unfortunately. And it's been one of the possibilities from pretty much day one. Some people were wondering if this, in fact, was the scenario that will happen. You know, they will play into this peace deal thing, create an illusion that someone wanted, you know, oh, actually Putin wants peace. Can you believe that? Can you believe that the Kremlin has always secretly wanted peace? It's such a weird thing that they invaded in the first place then. And then they would just drop it. And then the fighting will resume. So, unfortunately, it seems like this is the timeline that we're currently in. I bet that the US... we'll get to the mineral agreement. We'll get to the... I'll leave it to the... Because it just happened, so it's closer to the end of my list of things. Trump refused to attend ceremonies in France honoring the dead of the World War I, calling them losers, and now he wants a parade on his birthday for the World War I victory. Yeah, the hypocrisy is bewildering, but also, is it really surprising at this point, right? I mean, it's extremely unpleasant, but also something that could be totally expected, I guess, right? This is so on brand for him. How he always types his name in all caps lock when he talks about himself, Trump. That's the part of the brand, I guess, being inconsiderate to everyone but yourself. Okay, I'm glad you guys liked the idea with Poopin, so let's just call him that. Anyway, I just looked at the YouTube chat. Let me go back to my list of things, because I have a list. Anyway. And May first started out with 5 Iskander missiles and 117 drones launched toward Ukraine. So whenever something like this happens, this means all of us get air raid alerts. So that would mean that all of this entire map that right now is very peaceful, well, relatively peaceful, relatively quiet, it's gonna all turn red, because whenever there is something, you know, some big guns, some big serious missiles, the ballistics, the hypersonic missiles, immediately all of us get notified, because it means it could be going anywhere. So this is how the May 1st, the Labor Day, began for the country. And this also brings us to the mineral deal. Yay! I hope you're excited to talk about the mineral deal. So, what can I say? I'm gonna tell you that I was surprised to see the result. First of all, this is not the final result. So they have signed the first part of the document. There's also going to be the second part of the document that will deal with the technical side of things, right? It's going to deal with some of the details, as they like to call it, because right now we're dealing with what was originally 90 pages document. This was something that the US side presented our side with. It has turned into a 12-page document, so I guess it's an improvement of sorts. And many things were compromised on, especially many of the crazy things that were obviously in the first draft of the deal, only, to be as this like starting point for the bargaining, I guess. But some of the things really, really surprised me. So thank you, ChatGPT. Okay, so first and foremost, so Ukraine keeps the ownership of pretty much the majority. So everything that is in our soil right now remains with us, which is good. If you remember, in the first drafts of the deal, they discussed taking everything from us. So this is a very nice improvement, I guess. And we're going to invest the revenues and the rent payments and all kinds of things that have to do with the infrastructure, with the extraction of the minerals. We're going to invest this into the common fund, and the US's contribution to this fund will be. It will include in particular the new supplies of the weapons, right? So basically everything that the US will be delivering to us from now on, it could be counted as the US investment into this mutual fund that will be established as a part of the mineral deal. So this is an interesting twist. I'm actually interested in seeing, a much more in-depth, detailed, the technical document as well, to see how it's going to work. Anyway, so US will receive the preferential rights to the digging in Ukraine. So not to the existing stuff that is already in someone's ownership. So this is the part that kind of saddened me, because I was hoping that maybe our oligarchs will lose some of their stuff. No, not going to happen. Anyway, they get the the right of first night to the stuff that is going to be newly discovered, and this is, they list 57 kinds of minerals, and they also list oil and natural gas and copper and gold and everything, all kinds of different extractions. Anyway, but Kyiv retains the final say in what is being mined and where. This is the moment where we get a little caveat in here. It's not only up to Kyiv. The majority, well, not the majority, but a lot of our minerals are on what now is the occupied territories. Are you guys seeing the map? All of this in red? Yeah. So a lot of the stuff, especially the juiciest stuff, some of the stuff that has been routinely brought up in the media and by all of these politicians, it's in these parts. So I would say it's not only up to Kyiv at this point, but okay, all right. Let's see. Let's only look at the document. Let's not going to talk about how we're going to liberate all of this in order to get the American developers to their precious minerals. So the investment fund will be 50-50. This is a major improvement. It used to be with the first condition, the first draft condition was that the Americans will get the majority on the fund. So now it's 50-50, 3 board members from each country, so the US and Ukraine. And the fund income and contributions is going to be tax-free, both in the US and in Ukraine, which, I don't know, opens potential for a lot of shady doings, but what do I know? Another major thing that remained the same is that we do not get any security guarantees. So nothing in writing, at least for now. They basically assume that this is going to be the security guarantee enough. The American developers developing stuff in Ukraine, I guess. And what else? Our EU bid is not threatened, which is wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And another very important point, we started out with how we're gonna pay 500 billion back to the United States, which is it's a very massive question mark regarding where this number is even coming from. Anyway, okay, then it was 350 billion. Now we came to the terms that Ukraine will not be reimbursing for previous aid. So this is something that is now forgotten. All right. Okay, I guess. Interesting. So as you can see, the majority of the crazy stuff, thankfully, is left behind. So this is definitely good. I was hoping, that maybe somehow in the middle of all of this, amidst the insanity, we will also manage to get rid of our oligarchs, No, not gonna happen. And also, the biggest question, and what a lot of the people on the American side of things are wondering, is the biggest thing that the US is getting out of the situation is the future minerals. So the invisible minerals that we will be finding, that we will be finding sometime in the future, I guess. So it kind of raises the suspicions of, will these minerals be even, discovered? Because again, the last major geological expedition in Ukraine was conducted during the Soviet times, I think in the 70s. There was some work was done by the EU and Ukraine in the last couple of years, trying to also investigate what kind of minerals we have in different parts of the country. But that was pretty much it. And also a lot of this stuff is occupied. So what exactly is it that you're getting in all of this? It's just so many questions. So yeah, either they're not showing us some parts of the thing that are gonna be in the thank you, Annette, that are gonna be in the technical part, in the second part of the document, that they still have to sign it, or it's some kind of brilliant art of the deal that we just don't understand. So yeah, interesting turn of events, I guess. Let me see what you guys are saying. This is my basically take on the mineral deal. Trump's art of the deal. Right. Good to see you too, Michael. How are you doing? If only America had a president like Ukraine. No, trust me. You don't want a president like ours. Just let us keep him. Let us deal with him. We have elected him, so it's our problem now. Are Russian pipelines to Europe still shut down? Depending which one you are talking about. The biggest problem here is not even the pipeline itself, is the fact that they still continue buying natural gas from because the dependency was so heavy. It's impossible for them to just immediately say no to it. Thank you, Annette. Like in the Hamilton musical, they just can't, right? It takes a while, and this year again they couldn't leave the dependency. So it creates this bizarre situation in which, with one hand, they're buying the Russian gas and they're basically paying the Kremlin, but at the same time they're also supporting us. So this natural gas is being used to fuel the European industry. The manufacturing, for instance, like in Germany, and then they manufacture the weapons, then they give them to us, and we use those weapons to kill the Russians. So this is the crazy part of the entire situation, and this was one of the things that was the hardest for me to just wrap my head around, because what do you mean? But yeah, this is the modern warfare, everybody. Welcome to the real life. Of course, the USA does gain financially with providing weapons. So still major question about all of this, because I have seen conflicting reports. At first they have reported that the Europeans are now gonna give Ukraine the money, Ukraine is gonna buy the weapons from the United States, and the United States is gonna be happy, and Trump is gonna make America great again. Then we have learned that actually all of the future weapons that the US will be giving us, they are going to be counted as this investment into the fund. So it means that this money will have to be paid back from the fund when the fund starts working, when we get the invisible minerals that haven't been excavated yet. So this is the this is the problem. I do live, yes, I am alive. Are Ukrainians okay with delay elections? Many are not, but this is the martial law. This is how things are, unfortunately, when there is a martial law in the country. If you guys ever get the martial law, you're going to be surprised, trust me, at how many rights and freedoms will be limited in your countries. Let me see what the YouTube chat is saying. Sorry guys, I abandoned you for a while because everything is on a different device. I cannot see my YouTube chat on my monitor where I'm showing the map. Let me see. Okay. It's like thank you for you can like and subscribe if you would like. I'd really appreciate it. We're also live on YouTube, everybody, to those who do not know. Okay, I think it's still very cozy. I didn't forget about you guys. I'm still looking at the chat from time to time, but the main action is on TikTok still. Maybe eventually we will move. Who knows? We'll have to see. Okay, it's getting really dark. Do we turn on the poisonous yellow light now, or do we wait a couple more minutes? Okay, I think we're gonna wait, because it's gonna be really, really devastating for our mental health. Even in the past, the US didn't honor security agreement. Yeah, it's another major question with this entire thing, with security guarantees and agreements and stuff. Like, what do they actually mean, right? Because I think if there's anything we have learned in the last couple of years, pretty much nothing. I mean, kind of something, but also not really, because nothing can prevent you from actual... if a psychopath decides to attack you, and decides to cause this much devastation, there's very little that can be done, right? You can, I mean, of course you can try and you can defend yourself and you can try and minimize the damage, but ultimately it's up to the crazy, I'm afraid, and this is the situation that we've been in. So all of these agreements, yeah, we had papers signed. The funniest part of the Budapest memorandum that we had signed with the entire, where the entire security guarantees conversation is coming from, another side that signed the Budapest memorandum was the Russians. They're so, like, right, this is crazy. Sorry, I am a bit behind the chat as always. What warranties that Russia will not attack mining companies? The giant glowing orb of respecting Trump. That will be seen from space. No, but unfortunately for now, this is everything we have heard, right? All of the talk of how, oh, Putin respects Trump so much, he's not going to strike American developers in Ukraine if they come after their mithril and whatever else, vibranium and stuff. But maybe with time there's going to be something else. I mean, to me, all of the new announcements about the parts for the F-16s and the maintenance for F-16s and the support for the F-16, this is the best security guarantee you can give at this point, right? This is the best security guarantee you can give for your developers, you can give for Ukraine. If Ukraine has a strong enough air defense, then this terror that we have just talked about, how we wake up every single day to 100 drones and a couple missiles, or like tens of missiles, depending on what mood the Russians were in, this is going to cease. Because this is what the strong air defense system does. So maybe this is actually a part of it, but no one is saying anything. Everyone's being sneaky about it. Or maybe they're just being stupid. I don't know. We'll have to see. Trump just makes up whatever numbers come to his head. Sometimes it does seem like this, because it was really interesting seeing how 500 billion became 350 billion, and then they became 100, and now they became nothing. So... okay, I think we're gonna risk it, and we're gonna try and turn on the yellow light. So brace yourselves. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Anyway, TikTok wants something from me. The puzzle. I have to do the puzzle. Alrighty, let's see. Alaska has those minerals. Right, you guys also have a bunch of minerals, but you see, everybody wants more minerals. Everybody wants... every single minerals. The Chinese also want the minerals that we have in the Russia-occupied territories. There have been some reports about how they try to get their hands on those. And they also have tons of minerals of their own, but apparently there is no such thing as enough minerals. Anyway, so yeah, right after we signed the mineral deal, at least this first draft, the first part of the mineral deal, we've received the news first and foremost of this one more transfer, indirect commercial sale of weapons for Ukraine, and then immediately after that, US State Department approved sale of F-16 training and support services to Ukraine worth $310 million. So it's good because we have no matter what the conditions are, is it going to count as this or that, we definitely moved from this just paralyzing situation that we've been in, with them refusing to do anything right about the weapons, with them just putting pause to the weapon deliveries altogether, and all of the... Actually, it's not even... At certain points, it wasn't even the pause itself, but the uncertainty that caused more damage, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's going to happen tomorrow. It affects the morale. It affects the planning. At least now we, get some picture of what's going to happen. Another thing that happened right after that was there was a massive... Again, we woke up on the 2nd of May to yet another massive Russian drone strike, but so did Crimea. Do you guys remember Crimea? We're going back to the map. We're going to discuss the strikes on Crimea. So this is Crimea, my beautiful home that I miss dearly and that has been occupied by Russia for 11 years. So May 2nd, Crimea wakes up to 121 drones. The entire attack was insane. I have seen some of the like schemes of how it was all organized. It was just flying from all directions, and the most interesting part was the fact that there were some drones going in from the sea, so from this from over here somehow, probably arriving from Odessa, I would guess. Hard to say. Not the first time it happened. It's already been under the attack by our sea drones in the past. It's important to keep in mind that the occupied Crimea right now is used as this place of arms for the Russians, right? It's used as this massive preparation area and also a launching point for a lot of their missile and drone strikes on our territory. So it's become this heavily militarized one massive base, military base. So the places that were hit were, of course, Sevastopol, город русской военной славы, as they like to call the city of the Russian military glory. And then to the north of Sevastopol, if you look at the map, there is this little place called Kacha, which is an interesting word. Oh, hi, thank you. Kacha has this military airport, right, military airdrome, and it was hit in the past. It's not the first time Kacha gets hit. And very often when people are saying like, oh, like Sevastopol gets hit, what they actually mean, they mean Kacha, which is not, I mean, it's close to Sevastopol, but it's not really the city of Sevastopol itself. Then another one was very close to my hometown. We're going up and up and up. So this is my hometown of Yevpatoria. It's in western Crimea. And and right next to it are two military Russian bases that got hit in the recent strike. So this is the city, the town, it's not a city, as Saki, and then there is Novofedorivka. Novofedorivka in particular was infamous because I believe this was the place of the first massive Russian strike on Crimea, of Ukrainian strike on Crimea back in 2022 with massive explosion. It had a lot of planes destroyed, and it was also an important sort of psychological, I guess, step, because before that everybody was worried that, oh, it's one of the red lines, we cannot, attack into Crimea because Crimea is so special for the Russians. Now it's not. So yeah, this was also hit, and also Jankoy. This is northern Crimea. It's right here. You can see it has these two major railroads crossing, and Jankoy also got hit somehow, but I haven't seen any confirmations from Jankoy. From these, I saw some pictures and some videos. So yeah, the thing that happened, an interesting thing that happened that our armed forces revealed, is that during that strike on Crimea, especially the part that the sea warfare part, it was done from the new drones. So the sea drones used as launch pads for the FPVs. So it's a drone from which you're launching a drone. The future is here, everybody. I hate it, but yeah, that's some of the new developments in the world of the drones. Okay, I'm gonna look at the TikTok chat first, and then I'm gonna look at the YouTube chat. Yeah, and if you would like to see where Kacha is, yeah, you can go on my YouTube and you can take a look at the map. By the looks of Trump's latest post on Truth Social, he looks to be rooting to become Pope. Not the Pope. What's gonna happen with Marjorie Taylor Greene? She's gonna have a meltdown because she thinks that the Pope is evil and is the devil. Oh no, she's gonna have such a cognitive dissonance if it happens. Did Putin take Crimea and for other Ukrainian territories for peacemaking deal when they were still discussing the peace deal, which they're not really discussing anymore? At least it's not as openly discussed in the media. On the contrary, we have the talks of the US pulling out of the peace deal and Russia being just, I don't know, what they're doing, confused, I guess. The last time we had any sort of conversations, it was announced as a part of the deal. So Crimea normalized, the annexation of Crimea normalized, officially recognized by the United States, so legally recognized, and the rest of the occupied regions, if you are on YouTube, that's the difference is that this is Crimea right here, and this is the rest of the stuff that they have occupied. This is going to be occupied de facto. So it means it's going to be treated the same way Crimea has been treated for the last 11 years. But again, it's very dubious if it's actually going to work, even if they agree on something like this. How exactly is it going to work, considering that Ukraine and Europe said that they're not going to recognize it, that they're not going to lift the sanctions. So yeah, many questions regarding that. For Crimea, like for the prosperity and the good, everything involving Crimea, thank you, Travis. The most important thing for Crimea would be to be recognized in some official capacity by Ukraine. Because Crimea, there is a reason why Crimea is Ukraine, because it's connected to Ukraine by land. It has all of it makes a lot of sense for this, what the Russian propaganda likes to call the stupid gift by Khrushchev when he gifted Crimea to Ukraine. It makes sense. It's connected to Ukraine. Ukraine is never going to recognize Crimea as a part of Russia, so it's just silly. Anyway, where's the dog? The dogs are sick, you guys. The dogs are really sick, and I'm really worried about them, and this is why I didn't post about them. I promised you to post about them on Instagram, and then they all started getting sick. So now I'll have to wait. Thank you, Travis. I'll have to wait for them to get better, and then we will do the proper, dog reintroduction, because I'm just really worried about them right now. Okay, let's see what. Hi, Helen. How are you doing? We're also live on YouTube, looking at the map, a new kind of map. So you could join us on there as well if you would like. Let's see what the YouTube chat is saying. Are you guys saying anything? I don't think much is happening on here. But I'm just checking, just in case, if there's anything happening. He said a meme of him as a pope. Yeah, that would be one hell of a pope. Donald J. Trump. Anyway, okay, let's see what else I wanted to talk to you about. Let me check my list of things. I mean, more drone strikes, more missile strikes. May 3rd, right, we've already gotten to today. Today, you're not going to believe it, we woke up to 183 Russian drones launched across Ukraine. And the extra awful thing that happened today was they used the thermobaric weapons in Kharkiv. Let's go up to Kharkiv again to remind you where Kharkiv is. It's right here. It's right here. Super close to Russia, unfortunately. And the awful part about this type of weapon is that it's the extreme levels of heat that they use, so they cause extra damage when they're being used, especially on the civilian residential areas, but also elsewhere as well. So that was terrible. Not the first time they've done something like this, but still remains terrible. Of course, the reaction dulls down when it continues happening, just over and over again, but still extremely awful. There were talks of some extra sanctions that could be applied to Russia if Russia refuses to participate in the peace process, but all of this is rumors. We haven't received any sort of massive confirmations, any leaked documents, anything concrete regarding the peace deal as of today. Everything we have received is the rumors. It's rumored that Russia will do the ceasefire. It's rumored that Russia is struggling economically. Duh, it's been rumored for how many years now? It's rumored that there are going to be more sanctions. It's rumored that the sanctions are going to be lifted. So everything is very, very flaky. So this is why I don't really see a point in going over all of these things that happen, because all of them are just a bunch of nonsense, pretty much. Oh, thank you, Curtis. I hope Trump doesn't try and steal the minerals. He has to find them first in order to steal them. Because of how they signed the document and how they have written it, how they phrased it, it makes it seem that it's not as easy as it's not as easy. The minerals are going to be hiding from them. They'll be playing hide and seek with the minerals. Crimea is Ukraine. Hell yeah. Alright, let's see. Bye. Zelensky saying goodbye. Are you not a fan of Zelensky? No. But many people are not. And also, I don't really believe in being fan just of any politician. They're politicians. You're not supposed to be in their fan club or in their little weird cult. They're public officials. They're supposed to be doing a job. If they're not doing a good job, you fire them. This is it. And also, I even go a little bit further than this. I've already said this before, but I genuinely believe that it's better to be in opposition to anyone in power. The moment they get the power, you're supposed to be in opposition to them because you're supposed to keep them in check. So, and also, I don't think there's a single Ukrainian politician I've ever liked. Just no. And politicians in general, not a fan. I'm afraid you'd never pay for it. Well, Russia gives propaganda and doesn't tell their true real plan. Yeah, this is a tactic that's been used since the Soviet times, I guess. Hello, Norway. I'm a little bit behind, I think, or maybe I'm good. Tell that to MAGA people. I try not to engage with them. but I've had a little taste back in the day. It was thrilling. It was an interesting experience. So I don't want to do that anymore. They just yell at you, and no matter what you try to tell them, it's impossible. So what's the point? I mean, honestly, it kind of saddens me. I've been seeing so much stuff from so many people complaining about like losing their parents to Fox News, losing their grandparents, their family members to these, propaganda outlets, to these cultist politicians and all of this. It's just, I can relate because this is kind of what happened to my Russian family. You just gradually lose them and you don't even realize. Hi, Dave, thank you. We're also live on YouTube if you want to see the map. I mean, we've already gone through the majority of the stuff, but maybe I will show you something else too. So yeah, it just sucks. They just gradually slip away, and you see these extremely like kind, compassionate, smart people. They're not just somebody from the street. I hate it when they depict these people, who end up following these cults, these politicians, these radical ideas as some kind of, brain dead rednecks, whatever. A lot of them don't start out this way. They start out as incredible people. And then they just change. And you just wake up one day, you meet them, and you don't recognize them. So, yeah, it sucks. It's awful. Oh well. Do you think there should be the problem with elections, with having elections right now, is that it will require the martial law to be lifted. You cannot lift the martial law when the entire country is at war. You're either fighting the war for your survival, or you're doing, the day-to-day democracy things. And these things are privileges. Unfortunately. I wish it wasn't the case. But it is. So it would require lifting the martial law. It would require taking up all of these measures that could potentially sabotage the defense of the country. And it's already very problematic. We're already having tons of problems. Thank you. Tons of problems with everything. And you just cannot compete with something, especially something like Russia, and also continue to, play this, whatever this is, play this make-believe. It's either or. Unfortunately. It sucks that we're in this situation, but honestly, what other way is there? To everyone who yells at us like, oh, you have to do elections, yes, of course, it would be wonderful. How are we going to do this? And all that aside, how do you do elections under the missiles? I still don't understand. How do you invite these people? I don't know if you're on YouTube right now or not, but like, look at this. Look at how many troops are there, how they're like almost surrounding some of these frontline towns. Do these people not vote? Do they not deserve to vote? Or do we just send them to the polling stations and wait for the missiles and artillery to hit those? Like, there are so many things to keep in mind. I don't know. It's just... Anyway, have you seen the movie Bitter Harvest? No. Should I? Maybe I should. Oh well. Totally feel there's lots of ended relationships here in USA because of the cult. Right, it's awful. I was recently thinking about this. I was just reminiscing about the first time when it happened to me, when it happened to my family, and it was so painful to even remember the first signs, the first time you meet with your grandparents, and you've known them your whole life, and they start spitting this hateful nonsense. In our case, they just started calling us like fascists. Every new year we come and visit them. This was before 2014, and all of a sudden you meet up with them and they're like, oh, are you guys fascist? What? Where did that come from? We didn't even understand that this was coming from the television, that this was the Russian state TV that was telling them this 24 hours a day. Oof. Okay. Anyway, let me see one more thing what the YouTube chat is saying. One more time. Because I think we have covered the majority of the topics that I wanted to talk about. Okay, one more topic actually I have still. The YouTube chat I think is still pretty chill and quiet. Wait, what did I press? I'm so bad at this. Everyone's just chilling on YouTube. Everyone's just vibing. What did you think of the reaction to him when at the Pope's funeral? Wait, to whom? they uploaded to Zelensky. I did see that. Trump didn't really get much reaction, but then everyone noticed that he was wearing a blue suit, and he got some slack for that, I guess. But yeah, everyone clapping. I mean, it was a little, but I kind of took it as in they were clapping, not to just Zelensky, but to our people, like the people who are currently resisting the aggression. So, and that was very nice. That was very nice of them. My mom used to support Trump, but I didn't vote for him in 2024, so there is some hope for MAGA people. This is also another important point, by the way. Thank you so much for bringing this up, because yes, there's always hope, and people do change, and it's important to keep in mind. But it's such a painful process so often, right? It takes so much time, and there are so many different cases, so many nuances, and like in case with my grandfather, for instance, he never changed, so he passed away still convinced that we're all fascists here. So but with my grandma, the only grandma that I still have who's alive, she was like really really into this entire, I wouldn't say like super pro-Putin, but pro-Russian imperialism. I think the last couple of years have been really eye-opening for her in many instances. You never know. Kim says, how are you? All good. Finishing, I think by this point in time already finishing the broadcast, because we've talked about the majority of the awful things. It's terrible, but it is what it is. Other than that, it's very calm here. The situation is stable. It might change in summer with this entire upcoming military training in Belarus, with Russia and Belarus preparing for the training. It might not, who knows. So for now, it's all good. Just hoping that my dogs get better, because they all got sick. So that's that's currently the main concern. Oh well, let's see what else. There's always hope. Yes, let's believe in that. I think this is the way. This is the way to think. Did you see the recent footage of Aragorn Viggo at the train station in Spain with Trezub? Yes, I did. It was super unexpected and very heartwarming. To those of you who do not know, so Viggo Mortensen, who played Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, during the recent blackouts, the Iberian Peninsula, so Portugal, Spain, also parts of southwestern France were also cut off from power. The journalists somehow managed to stumble upon him in the train station and interview him in Spanish, which was also very heartwarming for all the Spanish-speaking people. And he was wearing a t-shirt with the Ukrainian trezub on it, which just everything about the situation was like a gift that kept on giving. It was awesome. And it went kind of semi-viral on the Ukrainian internet for obvious reasons, because we love stuff like this. Last thing that I wanted to discuss, to those of you who are still on YouTube, let me show you one more thing. One more strike that happened that I forgot to tell you about. So this, you guys, we go back to Crimea, and then across from Crimea, this is where the Krasnodarsky Krai, the Krasnodar region of Russia, begins. And this right here, this is the port city of Novorossiysk. Novorossiysk is something that we have mentioned briefly before. Some of you might even remember. This is the port city that the majority of the Russian Black Sea fleet ships have been taken to for safety from Sevastopol, which is their home base. This is Sevastopol. It's right here. It's in Crimea, and this is what the Sevastopol is famous for, right? That this is the home of the Russian Black Sea fleet. Anyway, so in Novorossiysk, this is where a lot of them are positioned, and also this is a major military base. Obviously, this is where a lot of Russian military activity is happening for the region. And so today there were news of a massive, very interesting strike. So what our side is saying is that it was our drones equipped with the R-73. This is the Soviet-era missile, from what I could tell, but that was apparently like modified. Anyway, these missiles, they hit the Russian plane, the Russian Su-30 fighter jet, according to our intelligence, the GUR, and the Russians even confirmed it. Which was surprising. They're very often denying these things. There's so many surprising things about this. First and foremost, again, it comes the next day after this interesting attack on Crimea, where we had the new type of drones used in the strike. Now we have a completely different missile entering the game that has never been used before. That's pretty interesting. That has been modified, so it's been at the very least built, changed on the basis of what we already had, and that has proven itself quite efficient because taking out a plane, I mean, that's pretty awesome. So all of this still kind of covered in mystery, but it's interesting to see because up until recently, Novorossiysk was kind of immune almost, so there was not much action happening there. Which was extra weird considering that the significance, the military significance that I just told you about, how much stuff it has. Well, yeah, so today it changed in this really unpredictable manner. So this is something that caught my attention. Do we have the bridge on them? Oh, yeah, we have the bridge. To those of you who are still on YouTube, look at this thing. This is my arch nemesis. I hate this thing with the passion of a million suns. I hope it burns one day. I don't know if I will live to see the day when it burns, but it's right here, looking like something very unpleasant, like a parasite. It looks like a parasite. It just hit me. The Crimean bridge. The disgusting thing. How much I hate you. I just remember everything about how they were proud and so happy that they now have this stupid bridge. We used to have the ferry connecting, so Crimea and Krasnodar region, it obviously used to have people moving between them. A lot of us have family in Krasnodar, I have family in Krasnodarsky Krai. And the ferry worked just fine, but of course it was not enough for the military operations that they had in mind. If you wanted to supply the place with tanks and artillery and everything and ammo and troops and stuff, you also need this sort of connection. And everything about it, the fact that Putin opened it, the fact that this is the second time someone attempted to build this bridge. The first time when a bridge was attempted, it was during the Nazi occupation of Crimea. So, hate it. I hope it burns one day. Anyway, that was just an emotional pause. Let me see. Okay, I think we have covered most of the topics. We had a very chill stream today. Something new that we have tried with YouTube. If you guys have any questions, I'm gonna for 5 more minutes probably gonna look at the questions, and then we're probably gonna call it an evening because we went through all of the things that I had in mind. But again, if you come up with something, let me know. I'm gonna look at the TikTok chat first and then at the YouTube chat as well. Haven't seen you in ages. Well, I mean, I am live. I try to be live at least for the last couple of weeks. I've been every Saturday 7 p.m. Eastern European Summer Time. This is when I go live these days. Still might do an extra live throughout the week. It hasn't happened yet, but might. But Saturdays are more or less for sure. Ivor Dog's multilingual. When Mish, that's by the dog that I think you guys are most familiar with, when she was a puppy, she would react to English. So I would give her commands in English and she would be fine with those. Recently I tried to do the same thing and she just gave me a look. She just looked at me like are you insane? So no, she doesn't really respond. She responds to Ukrainian and Russian. Chewy, that's my first dog that I got in Crimea, found it in Crimea at the beach. She only responds to Russian as a separatist that she is. The other dogs, I don't think I tried English with them, but most of the time, at least from what I've tried, I've noticed it very often depends on the intonation. It depends on how you say things, not the words themselves, but how you say. If they recognize the intonation, they're gonna do the command. So thank you for watching, Kathy. Appreciate you guys. Danish people support Ukraine a lot. Thank you. It's appreciated. It really, truly is. I mean, we try to say thank you. And I think our officials too, but obviously you can never say something like this enough. So thank you for the support. Do you think Kaliningrad should be separate from Russia? In the current climate, well, by separate, if you mean if it should be turned back into Königsberg or if it should be demilitarized, whatever, I think it presents a military threat to Europe. And eventually, if there is anything, if there is an escalation towards Europe, if there is any sort of Russian incursion into the Baltics or into Poland or wherever, Kaliningrad is going to play the part. Right now, they try to isolate it, but it's not isolated properly in my mind, in my opinion at least. Like recently when I was in Warsaw, I saw they still have direct buses going to Kaliningrad, which again, right, I think it makes sense because it's like, it's the people, right? It's the transporting people from one area to another. At the same time, okay, if you're transporting people, especially considering everything that we know about the Russian parallel import chains and how the regular, just day-to-day people are being used for bringing in the parts, for instance, for the military equipment and stuff. Like, are you sure that this is not what's happening here? Are you actually keeping it 100% safe and secure? It's just, I just think it's a massive question mark for the Europeans, for the European safety first and foremost. For us, not necessarily. But if something happens, and I think Russians understand it very well, and this is one of the reasons why they always wait. I can open. Can I open the map? Let me see. Let's do one more thing on YouTube. If there's anyone left on YouTube, we're gonna look at the map of the Suwalki corridor. Right, it's right here in red. To those of you who are on YouTube, you can probably see this. Whenever they talk about the possible incursion into the European Union, this is the place that they always bring up. 9 out of 10 times it's this one. It's the Suwalki Gap, the Suwalki Corridor. It's this teeny tiny narrow area that, in their mind, is supposed to connect them to Kaliningrad, right? So all of their potential plans that they're discussing, they all involve Kaliningrad in one way or another, right? That Kaliningrad has to be connected to, in this case, Belarus, but they already believe that Belarus is part of Russia. So, and it's just the very fact that this discussion even exists, like how disgusting is that? And yeah, it kind of looks like a bottle, right? Like the neck of a bottle. And when you travel by bus from Poland to Lithuania, from Lithuania to Poland, which I do from time to time, it feels really spooky, this entire area. When you look at it on the map, like nothing changed, you're just traveling in Europe, right? But when you look on the map and you see how it just goes narrow and narrow and narrow, you're like, ugh, gives you heebie-jeebies. So yeah, that's on Kaliningrad, I guess. As always, went on a rant. The woman who was like, I'm just gonna be on for 5 more minutes, immediately goes on a 10-minute rant about Kaliningrad. Perfect. Anyway. Vigo went to my high school. Oh, that's so cool, Benjamin. I mean, wow. I don't even know what to say. You were able to get a piece of a celebrity in your life. Same high school. No one as cool went to my high school. I don't think a single cool person ever attended my high school in Yevpatoria. So, good for you. Okay, we talked about Kaliningrad. I'm also gonna look at the YouTube chat. And then I think... Oh, wait. No. I see more questions on TikTok. Wait. I'm very far away. I'm very far away from the fighting. Don't worry. I'm on the opposite side of the country. If we go back to the map... Wait. Where are we? I am in this part. In this part. This is where Volyn is. Or if you want to go on this map, this region is mine. If you're on YouTube. Anyway, so super Western Ukraine. Does Ukraine need the rest of Europe to step up more? Europe needs Europe to step up more. At this point, I think it's written on the wall. When the US is announcing openly that it's at least planning, at least considering pulling out of the European security, I think it's just something, it's a wake-up call. And I feel, at least from what I see, from the signs that I see, I feel like Europe is taking it like for real this time. I think they are. They announced these massive investments into security. They are talking about mobilizing more people. They're talking about all of this new equipment that they're going to be building. They're opening all kinds of military plans. And I don't know, just taking their security finally, I think, for the first time in a very long time, like for realsies. So I think this should be the priority. And in terms of, like, strong Europe means strong Ukraine. I think at this point, obviously it's still like it's going to be a process filled with a lot of hurdles and a lot of problems, but I feel like our ascension to EU is almost inevitable, right? It's just going to take time. And honestly, I wish it would have taken more time, but there is an opinion within the European Union that it would be easier for them to do something with our corruption once we're already in. I don't know, big question mark. But our army, can be integrated into the European Union, and we can have something to offer, especially now with this discussion being held about creating the European armed forces. So, I don't know, the potential here is huge, right? The potential here is huge, and if Europe steps up and shows up for itself, Europe will show up for Ukraine as well, because we're interconnected. At the end of the day, it's the same continent, right? We're right here. I hope it makes sense. Thank you, Henrik. Okay, and now I'm gonna go to the YouTube chat for the last time today, I think. There's still 45 of you in the YouTube chat, you guys. This is so sweet of you. Aw. Let me see. So yeah, if you would like to say something in the YouTube chat, I'm there right now. It's been thank you. It's been really impressive to see Ukraine quickly developing capabilities to strike all over within Russia. Thanks to the European help, thanks to the American help, just thanks to our partners' help. This was something that was unspoken, but this was clearly one of the biggest projects throughout the first stages of helping Ukraine. Something that they started immediately considering is working with with what we already have, modifying the existing basis, the existing post-Soviet foundation that Ukraine has, and building up on that. And it showed some good results. Yeah, and also a lot of the things that you're seeing, a lot of the things that are announced as this is the SBU project, or this is like with the sea baby drones. They had these drones that were used for the first time, I think, a couple of years ago in the sea strikes on Crimea, on the ships, on some other military facilities in Sevastopol. Oh, wow. We're having something of a thunderstorm here. Anyway. These drones that were originally presented as our invention, turns out they're not our invention. And honestly, many of us didn't have any doubts that those are not our invention, but it was proven that it was something that was invented, I think, in the US, and it was just tested here. And our side put some a spin on it, adapted it to our reality, but it was originally manufactured and invented for the potential operations in Taiwan. Right, when the inevitable comes, when the clash for Taiwan begins. So, yeah, so many layers to this whole thing. YouTube is I'm really glad that you like the YouTube setup. I will try to improve it in the future. If we continue with these, I will definitely work harder. Thank you, Annette. 一生懸命頑張って頑張ります。Thank you, Tim. I was wondering, what is the spirit in Ukraine right now? I can only imagine it can be tiring to fight so long, but hopefully the will to prevail is still there. I think in many instances, thank you, Lakeland. In many instances, it has sort of changed. Obviously, it doesn't have the same bravado of the first year, I guess, the first months. It also doesn't have the same in many instances, unfortunately perhaps, it doesn't have the same feeling of urgency as it had in 2022, because in 2022 it was a very different kind of war. It was when pretty much everyone realized that, this could be it today. So everyone had to step up. Right now, it's unfortunately become more relaxed in a sense, and more people get disappointed. Another thing about 2022, with everyone getting together, everyone being united, was that there was no time for all of these domestic squabbling, all of this stuff, all of the stealing, the corruption, all of this nonsense. It was all gone. It was the beautiful months of the beginning of the full-scale invasion, in the sense that these were the only months in the recent history when none of this was happening, because all of the, pardon my language, assholes have either fled the country. They were all in Austria, they were all in Vienna, they were all in London, they were all in France, whatever, waiting, for Russia to take over, and then they could come back and continue stealing, or they were all hiding. So it was insane, and everyone finally, we could stop paying attention to that and concentrate on what was important. So the moment Russian troops get kicked out from Kiev in April, thank you, Liz, it has changed. It became something, we gradually started going back into this a domestic squabbling mood, and I think this was one of the biggest problems, unfortunately. But as you can see, we're still standing, miraculously. How many times have they buried us throughout the years? But yeah, it's definitely different, but it's still there. It's just changed. It's more, gritty. It's perhaps more existential in a way, but it's still there. The fighting spirit, I think. Anyway, sorry, I got carried away. I hope this answered your question. Can't wait to see Ukraine free. I wish. Love from your Romanian neighbors. Thank you. Patrick says we won't leave you. Is this a threat? No, I understand what you're saying. Thank you. Oh, this is so lovely. Thank you, Liz. The roses. Oh, no, I didn't. Wanted to catch them like the bouquet. I have you on my TV and tablet while I work, so good to see and hear you. Thank you, Lexi. I appreciate you. If you saw my setup, I have 3 devices right now surrounding me. I have my laptop with the map, and I have the chat here, and I have another chat here. I had to take my mom's phone to do this. Anyway, Heroям Slava. Alright, let's see if I missed anything on TikTok, and then I think we will be calling it now we will be calling it an evening. If I don't get carried away and I don't go on another rant. Oops, just a second. My gigantic cup on the side of my head. Alright, let's see. Oh, thank you, Zoe. Oh, how hip and cool am I? How is Ukraine able to keep the trains running? So the biggest problem with the trains was during the first massive Russian strike on our infrastructure. Right, this is when we have experienced some problems, but ultimately they have been resolved. So with power outage, how you deal with power outages is the same thing, I think, across the country. It's the generators. It's the backup system that had to be developed, not just with trains, but just pretty much with anything else. So if this is, regarding electricity. However, the key thing in keeping any part of your infrastructure as a country is having air defense. This is one of the reasons why, if you remember these strikes that Russians have launched across the country at the very beginning, right, we have all these massive explosions all across the country. The biggest goal for those was to disable our air defense system. It was to destroy the ground-to-air systems that we had, like S-300s, for instance, so the Soviet era equipment that we had, and it was to disable our airports and our planes, which we still had some. We had some Soviet era, again, planes. That was our defense at the time. They didn't manage to, through various reasons. There were some really cool stories about it. In some instances, the people who believed that the invasion was imminent gave orders to, take the planes away from some of the airports, for instance. But in the regions where the air defense collapsed, or where the air defense was non-existent, this is where you saw the carpet bombings, and this is where you saw the destruction of all of the infrastructure. So no air defense means no infrastructure. This is something that we had to learn the hard way in some of the parts of the country. Because our country is so massive, it's huge, right? It's the biggest country in Europe. And because of how widespread our train network is, and because that we have the air defense and there were no carpet bombings, it was impossible for the Russians to destroy our railroad network with just some, high precision strikes. How many missiles do you need to carry out something like this, right? So yeah, pretty much that's the reason. There was some good PR for our only train companies called Ukrzaliznytsia, like the Ukrainian railroads. It's the state-owned company, because they have been notorious for very minimal delay, even under the strikes, even under the missiles, even with the train stations getting bombed, for instance, because train stations did get bombed, and multiple occasions. But yeah, they also put in some terrifying, terrific and terrifying work ethic. This is also, it should be noted, right, that the workers of that company have been incredible. The CEO, not so much, not a very popular guy here, but the workers, impeccable. So, as always, I think that's the case with most companies. Anyway, oh, thank you, Lola. This was about the trains. Let me go back a little bit. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. You are the... No one in my high school thinks I was cool. Trust me. Absolutely not a single person. I was the weird anime girl, so... And I absolutely loved it this way, but... Good to see you too. How are you? When Zelensky steps down, are there equally good people to replace him? No, unfortunately no. We have some promising young talent, but I don't think these people have like any major chance in winning the election, because you need a lot of publicity and you need a lot of money to get like the public attention, to get your name out there. Most of the times they just don't have that, and the politicians who do have that, politicians who already have the name recognition and who have the brand, they're all terrible people. And the names that keep popping up from time to time, like Tymoshenko, oh my god, the devil. Yulia Tymoshenko is the devil incarnate. Poroshenko, Petro Poroshenko, our former president, corrupt as hell. I mean, so was Yulia Tymoshenko. Also super corrupt. Did nothing, did everything bad during his first term already. Partially led us to the situation that we're in because didn't do the reforms. So, and they're all like, ugh. But there are some names. I can see some names sort of kind of, starting to get traction. But it's gonna take time for them to sway the majority of the public. That is, the majority is the same everywhere. The majority of the people everywhere are pretty passive, right? They're, whatever happens, so you need to get these people somehow, at least some of them. So that's a big what if. You may have covered this, but how are you feeling about the mineral deal? Yeah, we already talked about the mineral deal. It's weird. The weirdest thing to me is the fact that it's only the first part of the document that's released, so maybe there are some things missing, but it's unclear to me why is everything relying exclusively on the minerals that will be dig out in the future. This is something I don't understand for now. It makes it sound as if the US is not getting anything in the moment from this deal, and this is bizarre. I don't think this is how the US works. So. There's either something that we don't understand, or there are some parts of the documents that they're not showing us, and also that they also haven't signed the technical part of it, so maybe there's going to be some major revelations. The good thing is that we immediately started receiving more weapons, right? We immediately started receiving the packages that were paused, most notably the parts for the planes, so the F-16s, and this is awesome. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, the deal is still very, very, very questionable. All right. What else? Do you know much about your ancestry, whether they were Ukrainian? Yeah, for several generations I do know. Yeah, pretty much everyone, I think like 90% from what I could tell, have been Ukrainian, I guess. But also there was a very heavy Russification problem. And a lot of them, like both of my grandmas, they were born in the Ukrainian-speaking families, and both of my parents are Russian speakers, right? So you can see the Russification happening like in the span of 2 generations on our family's example. And also there is also a massive question mark regarding the Jewish ancestry, but this is a problem with all of us. Like we have suspicions that we might have like some Jewish ancestry, but you cannot like really prove it because of the Russification processes and how many people had to basically do anything to erase this in order to get some more or less equal treatment in the Russian Empire and the Soviet Union. In the Soviet Union it has improved, and then it also went awful with the anti-Semitism. So yeah, a lot of regarding this whole ethnic aspect, so many questions, but I do know some like little bits and pieces. Anyway, you guys, I think we did the majority of all the topics. I think we did pretty much all of the questions. Thank you to everyone who watched on YouTube as well. This was the first time I hope you liked it. I hope it was informative. We looked at the new map. And we did some updates, talked about a bunch of drone strikes and missile strikes. So if we decide to do this again the next time, it's going to be on, well, I mean, not if, I believe it will, unless there is a power outage, which I don't think it's going to happen. But for now, the plan is to do the next weekly update next Saturday, same time, 7 p.m. I will also perhaps try and go live on YouTube as well. And I will try to be better prepared and show you more stuff this time around. So, yeah, I hope you liked it. I hope it was interesting for you. So, yeah, Героям Slava, thank you. And yeah, again, right next Saturday. So the stream recording will be up on Patreon. Also, please check out my recent YouTube video if you have the time. The link is in bio. It's about 9th of May. I'm super funny in it. At least I tried. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Mwah. Take care, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, and I'm still live on YouTube, huh? What a plot twist. Let me see what the YouTube chat is saying, if you guys are saying anything. We already said goodbye to TikTok people. Let me see if you guys are saying anything. Because there's still 37 of you and I can see you. So, all of you are being very nice. Thank you. Okay, I think we're gonna close the thing down. No, this is me. No, this is me zooming in. Direwolf is still here. Alright, you guys. I think I'm gonna be closing this one down as well. Thank you so much for watching. To you guys too. And yeah, take care. Thank you so much. Let me try and see how do I turn this off. Okay, I think I have to... this is where the chat was. Alright.